Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. When the whole bookish, Booktok, Booktube, what have you started, I was so ecstatic. I was so stoked on the idea that people were finally gonna get back to reading, and there for a while it was kind of flatlining. And as a self-published author, I was like, yeah, more readers. That means like there's gonna be a lot more traffic for us authors. Unfortunately, there seems to be a bit of a trend, I hate using that word, but a bit of a trend to go towards like traditionally published books versus self-published books. There seems to be some kind of like cliche, unpopular opinion about it. Recently, I decided to do a bit of a deep dive on Reddit. Best place to look up deep dives. That may or may not be true. But anyway, you could probably go on there right now and you can see a lot of people discussing it and finally opening up to like why they just aren't willing to give self-published authors a try. And the biggest thing that I noticed was a lot of people seem to believe that self-published authors are more prone to using AI. Now, there seems to be a higher standard for self-published authors versus traditionally published. Like, traditionally published books, I've noticed, because I read a bunch, seems to use AI and pretty well, like, is viewed as being able to do whatever the hell that they want, versus self-published, you have to be perfect in literally every aspect. Which does seem to be a bit unfair because I have come across several traditionally published books that are in fact using AI. I will use an example, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this. This book right here is a prime example. The author did admit to using AI cover art, which I guess is whatever. I hate saying that because I am a graphic designer, I am a regular artist, I'm a paint artist, and AI basically like took my job, but you know, it is what it is. So there are like major companies out there like Expedia using like AI stuff. Like it's just something that's just kind of unavoidable at this point. But anyway, I do draw a bit of a line when it comes to generative text AI, which is basically when AI writes for you. There's a bunch of different ways that it can do it, apparently. This, I'll admit, I couldn't get very far in this book. I'm sorry. The book was very robotic, which is a key sign to AI. But, I could tell probably roughly at bare minimum, maybe 70% of this book was written by AI. And they, aren't getting any criticism for that. People are totally fine with it. But, the whole standard's pretty unfair. Also, I am noticing with, again, traditionally published books, a lot of the newer ones are using like one-sentence paragraphs, like a lot of just grammatically incorrect stuff, which oddly enough are usually in books that don't use AI. I was very curious on what was going on there because it kind of seems like a lot of writers are starting to kind of like backtrack and purposely mess themselves up. That was my opinion in the beginning, and so I decided to do a deep dive on that as well. And apparently there are a lot of authors out there that are afraid of being accused of using AI if their grammar comes off too perfect. And to me, that is mind-blowing that a lot of writers are out there are willing to sabotage their own work just so they don't get accused of doing something that they're not. Like, there's even a huge discussion and debate on using M-dashes. M-dashes, which a lot of you may know, a lot of you may not know, is those little lines that, like, associates one sentence with another. And that has been around a really long time, guys. I don't know if any of y'all have read a Stephen King novel, but a lot of his books are literally littered with M-dashes. And he's been writing like well before AI was even a thing. And same goes for a lot of other writers. But my point is it's just insane, you know? The whole thing just seems to be like driving, like writing backwards, which is kind of scary. Because of this fear, a lot of it is driven from the whole Booktok, Booktube, whatever, because apparently there have been a lot of instances where people will tag the author in a bad review, like not even just saying that the writing's bad, but if they suspect it's AI, like they're straight up just accusing them and making them look bad and driving their sales away, like it's fear-mongering, basically. The other issue with it is hard for us authors to find an agent now. For me, as an example, I'm getting out of the self-publishing business. Like it's pretty well, it's only like very few people are gonna make it as a self-published author, just because there's just not a whole lot of people that are like going with that and dealing with that. It's just a lot of people just don't see it as like a good thing or worth their time. So I basically just kind of like, I'm going to finish like my series. I'm going to release like my last book and in my trilogy. I guess it's not even a series. It's a trilogy. It's a trilogy. It's 3. So after I release that last one, I'm going to be done with it. And hopefully I can find an agent. So back to my problem there is because of the whole channels and whatnot, they mostly promote short stories, and there are quite a few that focus on like novellas, like novels, like the really, really thick books. So I have discovered that mostly agents are looking for one or the other, mostly because they're more focused on sales versus like, you know, actually paying attention to like all the stuff that's going on in here. They really don't care. They just want what sells. And unfortunately, what's selling now is whatever Booktok or booktubers are recommending, and it's making it very hard on those of us that are kind of in the middle, like me. Mine is a novella. Most of the stuff I write is a novella. I mean, that's just my thing. That's a lot of other writers' things, so it's kind of making it a little difficult on finding representation. My fingers are crossed. I've only gotten 4 rejection letters so far, which is not bad for now. A lot of people like to use the J.K. Rowling thing. She only got rejected 8 times. That's really, really, really low. Like, that is incredibly low. Like, I'm pretty sure the average for like several years ago was somewhere between like 30 and like 100, which I'm sure now it's like way, way higher, considering like a lot of people are just kind of pushing terrible books out written by AI, and the whole market is getting oversaturated. Like hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million a year now or something like that. Like the average right now for publishing a book every year is like insane. Insane. So kind of got off track again, but I just needed to get all this off my chest. Like, this isn't talked about enough. Like, and as a writer, it's just like super frustrating. I guess I'm an author, but still, it's frustrating for us. So if you're a reader, you may just now be hearing about this. You may just now be like looking at this and going, oh, holy shit. But writers, authors, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening to my little rant. I really appreciate y'all. I just really needed to get that out there. Y'all don't even know. Like, I've been writing for like, since I was 13. So like 15, 16 years or what the fuck ever. I'm really bad at math. But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all have a good weekend. I know we're near the week right now, but I don't know when you're going to see this. So even if the weekend is like a whole week away, I hope you enjoy that weekend coming up. Bye guys.